everyone for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada, and welcome to another segment of Ask Janome HQ, where I get to answer some of the questions that come through our Janome Canada social media, and as well, sometimes people write me emails. I'll try to get to the questions people even ask live, but then I do have a certain amount that I've already prepared and plan to answer, so any questions I may not be able to answer today, feel free that I'm writing them all down, and then I will get to them maybe in another presentation. So that means that you must keep tuning in. So it's wonderful. Lovely. Oh, yes, my gosh, Linda, of course I remember meeting you. Yes, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me here. Wonderful. Oh, and Catherine would like to figure out how to get a 1/4-inch seam for quilting. Perfect. I won't be able to answer that specifically, Catherine, with the setup that I have here, but that's an excellent topic for next week. I'll be doing another Magical Machine Mystery Tour, and then the following week for Ask Janome HQ. Perfect. How do I get a 1/4 inch? What are all the options Janome has available, depending on your machines and presser feet? Excellent. You've just given me my topic, Catherine, so that's perfect. So tune in 2 weeks from now to learn all about your 1/4 inch on your Janome machine. And a skank corner. Absolutely. We will totally share as much of the Janome love as we could. So yes, let's get started. So what are we going to do today on the Ask Janome HQ? Now, I mentioned our Janome Canada social media is a great way to ask us questions, to give us feedback, but also our Janome Life blog. And recently on our Janome Life blog, our educator from out west, Ann Stitcher, wrote a wonderful post about our optic magnifiers, and let there be light. Yes, you know, I'm using my fabulous, luminous lamp by daylight. Look at that. It's like a big lightsaber to me. Yes. So if you need more light in your sewing room, this luminous lamp, again, available from our Janome Canada dealers, really makes a big difference. And yes, let's get the lighting on our optic magnifiers here, because these are available for a number of Janome machines. Now here are fabulous 5300. The optic magnifiers actually come with the optic magnifiers. The optic magnifiers come with the machine, and then, our top-of-the-line Membercraft 15,000 quilt maker, they already come with the optic magnifiers. But Sandra Mugman loves her optic magnifiers. But yes, they come in a set here. This is a set of 3 that has the post that fit in the machine, and then maybe you can see there it says like 20-degree magnification. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So 20-degree, or this is then the 40-degree magnifiers, or then a 60-degree magnifier. So so you can really get up close. Now again, they come for those machines that aren't that they don't come with. They do come in this little blister pack here of the 3. Now there is also a blister pack that has just the 20 on the holder here. So there is a separate blister pack that does have just the 20, that does have, it's a really cool way to, there, I flip it up, and boom, I can change the lenses this way. So they're really convenient to use, and then they snap in. So again, if you are doing applique, you want really close up to the stitching, up close to the applique. Again, these optic magnifiers are fabulous. If you need to, if you're using a very heavy thread or maybe a very fine, delicate thread, and your needle threader just isn't cooperating with those finicky threads, those difficult to use threads, some of them you do have to thread by hand. So those optic magnifiers definitely make that task a little easier. So now, even in some machines that may not be compatible with the optic magnifiers, maybe we can still hold them up into position to then thread the needle. Or what I love using mine, I swear when I turned 50 last year, I needed these optic magnifiers to read some of these blister packs with that small writing. So how about using your optic magnifiers just in your hand to read all this fine print in your manuals, for example. So they really, really are handy. Now, again, Catherine is saying, oh, well, they fit the 8200. Well, this is what we're going to discuss today because, again, Ann Stitcher wrote all about the optic magnifiers and how great they are to save your eyes, especially when you're, sewing late at night and you're tired. It's great having these optic magnifiers to really see what you are doing. Now, you wonder, but are they compatible with my machine? So I wrote on the Janome Life blog, there was a question saying, are they compatible? And I said, oh, a great way to see if they are compatible is gently, depending on your machine, and I emphasize the word gently, but gently tip back your machine, and perhaps you will see, oh, I hope you can see in the camera, perhaps you will see there may be a little hole in the plastic housing of your machine. So it may be a little hard to see. Maybe a little hard to see on camera. Oops. There's that little hole. Oh, can I hold this with one hand? There we go. So there's that little hole. There may be a little hole in the plastic housing of your machine. So that's a good way to see if your machine is compatible, but you think, oh, that's a little tricky to do. So a lovely lady named Kitty asked, a visual demonstration, a photo would be most helpful. So Kitty, this is for you. I had suggested, how about putting a mirror down on the bed of your machine, and oh, look, you can see that little hole perfectly. So you don't need to worry if you have a heavier machine like an 8200, for example, tipping it back may be a little cumbersome. So just take a little mirror, like a little compact mirror or something like that, and see, is there a little hole somewhere in the plastic housing? It's usually around the thread cutter that's at the side of, I think, almost every Janome machine. So see if you've got that little hole. So if you don't have the mirror here, then also how about your phone? We generally all have our phones. And open up your camera. So I've got open up my camera, but then let's turn the camera around. So now we're seeing the opposite side. So this way, again, we can lay it under the machine, lay it under the bed of the machine, and then we can see, it's a little blurry here, but then we can see, oh, there's the little hole. So this way you don't have to crane your neck around to see. You can also feel, generally there, I can feel that little hole, but then I think that it's best to, again, put your phone under there, or put the mirror really works well. So put the mirror under there, and that way you can see, do I have that little hole there? Because a number of Janome machines are compatible with these optic magnifiers. Ooh, now we could see machines like the 4120, for example. Oh, well, are they compatible with 4120? Again, we could tip the machine back, or again, let's just take the mirror and shine it underneath, and I see, oh no, I don't see a hole anywhere here. Again, it's usually around the thread cutter, and there's my thread cutter. I don't see a hole here, and anywhere in the plastic housing here, no, there isn't a hole. So therefore, I can't use the optic magnifiers with the machine, but again, maybe I can just hold them up like that and thread the needle. Or again, hold them up to read the blister pack, or hold them up to see like the markings on your needle plate, for example. So they still may, they will still work, but they just won't be able to fit inside the machine. Now, we've also gotten questions about these optic magnifiers that perhaps you have. I think this is the one that came with, the 12,000, an older machine that is a 20-degree magnification here, but you'll see this holder is not adjustable. This one is set in with a little screw there, whereas the current, again, 20-degree, that comes on a larger arm, though, but this one is easily adjustable, that, again, we can switch out these magnifiers. So people have asked, can I switch if I want to get, like, instead of a 20-degree, if I want a 40-degree or a 60-degree, well, can I get that? Well, yes, you have to purchase the whole pack with the larger holder here. But yes, the lenses are the same size. So yes, a 60-degree lens will fit in this holder, but the lenses themselves do not come separate. They come with a holder and then the other lenses. But if you wanted to unscrew that, because even I did, because you know I have to always double check everything. So yes, you can unscrew that screw and remove it, and there's these little washers, don't lose those, and there your lens pops out, and again the lenses are the same size. So yes, technically a 40 and a 60-degree magnification lens will fit in this holder, but once you screw it back in, then it's not adjustable. It's going to be always that lens unless you remove it. This is the one, again, the size post is bigger than the other ones. Again, this I think was for the 12,000, so you'll see the difference in the post. Now they're all pretty much this size to accommodate for the bigger housing of the machine. So double check if you've got one of those older machines, double check that this post may not be too big, but it's the same size, pin. It's still going to fit up into your machine the same way. It's just going to stick out a little bit further. But the nice thing about these optic magnifiers, again, they can swivel. You can adjust them exactly where you need them. So in machines like a monocle, yes, Catherine says a monocle, absolutely. Or those jeweler eye loops that they use, that's what it reminds me of too. So here on the 6700, for example, do we have a little hole there? And this would also apply the 6650 because it's the same body. So we see, yes, here is the thread holder right there. And then here is the little hole, the little notch for the optic magnifier just to go up inside. So then again, it sits there. Now the great thing is then when you put it in the machine, you have it here when you need to, you see what's happening at your needle, but then you can pivot it out of the way, swivel it right around to the back of the machine so it's not in your way. So you can leave these optic magnifiers attached to your machine all the time, and they just swing out of the way. Again, this is why now that they come with the this larger arm available too, because to accommodate the housing of some of the machines. The Continental M7, for example, has its own set of optic magnifiers because the arm here is even longer to go around the housing of the Continental M7. It's got its own set of optic magnifiers, so you've got to make sure that you get the correct ones for your machine. So, let's see. Does this fit the HD9? Oh, alas, no. I did check the HD9 yesterday. I was curious myself. Again, when in doubt, will this fit my machine? Use the little mirror technique to look up to see, is there the post that... Is there a little notch? Is there a little post up inside the machine? Just use the mirror to see if there is one. And in the HD9, no, there is not one. I'm not sure if I can get back to see. I've got so much to show as usual. Back on the HD1000 here. Again, maybe if I tip up the mirror and see, there's nothing in there. There's the thread cutter, but all I see is there's the LED lighting, up in here, but again, there's nothing else in there for those optic magnifiers to fit in. So they're not compatible with the machine itself, but again, it's always useful just to hold them in your hand. Now, while I'm here, then, I will show you, given I'm talking about, again, the side thread cutters all the time, that again, they're in, I think, almost every Janome machine, but very often Celine has posted, and I have posted, where when we're going to be doing our sewing, we always like to hold our thread up here at that side thread cutter, and that way the thread is held in place when we're going to start our seam, and we don't have to worry about that thread being pulled down in the bobbin area, making it all messy. Now, I actually talked about this in the premiere episode of Ask Janome HQ, again in the middle of January, a month ago, that I did talk about that. So you can go back to IGTV icon on Janome HQ Instagram page, or I also load all of these presentations on the Janome HQ YouTube channel. So you can go back to see that presentation where I talked about, again, things like either putting your thread off to the side, or again, holding the thread, of course, or again, up here, Janome has, on most machines, a thread cutter. So from the back to front, it'll cut your thread, but from the front to back, it will hold your thread. So make sure when you do that, your thread is under your presser foot and then off to the side, and then it just, again, just holds there. So then you can start your seam, and then you don't have to worry about any of that thread nesting on the back side. And again, this thread holder and cutter is built into almost every Janome machine. Now, people recently were all over social media going, what's this thread holder? Well, it's the thread cutter. Now, some of the instruction manuals, like this for the HD9, it just says thread, it just says thread cutter, or yes, thread cutter down there, thread cutter. So then it shows you here on the side of the machine, oh, number 11 is my thread cutter. Or number 12, sorry, is the thread cutter. Whereas in my 15,000, MemoryCraft 15,000 manual, number 14 there, number 14, actually says thread cutter / holder. So whenever anyone talks about the thread holder, it's this thread cutter that, again, back to front is a cutter, but from front to back, it's a holder. So that's what we are talking about. Again, Celine references it all the time as well. It's really great. When I first started sewing, 30 years ago, this is what I did. Either held on to them or hung them up on the machine. Now, even if you're doing back to front, so long as you're not using a lot of pressure, again, it'll still hold the thread there too from back to front. Just don't pull it to cut the thread. But again, they're built into almost every Janome machine, so that's really good. So another thing I wanted to briefly talk about, because we get these questions all the time, and lately we've gotten quite a few, is how do I find all the accessories on my machine? Now, I wish we had, again, the time and the resources to constantly, like it's a full-time job, constantly updating our website. And we do make those efforts, believe me. We are trying to keep up with all the information, and Janome always sends us all these fabulous new goodies and new presser feet. So we want to know what's available, like for that fabulous HD9 Black Edition that I demoed last week on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. So how we go and find on our Janome.CA website, how do we go and find all the accessories? Let's say you're shopping, you're curious, and it's midnight. Of course, a great resource, call your Janome dealer. But let's say it's midnight and your Janome dealer is not open. So if you're on Janome.CA, is our Janome Canada website, and you go to the Products tab, and then scroll down, and you'll see this is where you can find info of all the machines, or then here we've got accessories. So we click View All Accessories. Now here is a Janome needle guide, and again in our premiere Ask Janome HQ episode, I talked about the needles and for our Janome machine, and I referenced that needle guide. Now you'll see as this banner is scrolling by that, oh yes, we've got lots of information here. So again, we can click here and download this PDF about the needle guide. Here is our bilingual Janome accessory guide. We can click on that to view the guide and print it. This is a brand new document, Janome accessory guide, compatibility guide. And let me just click back to that. Because on Monday's episode of Monday's Janome Life blog was this fabulous article in our Janome Jumpstart series that Janome America actually is writing for us, and we post it the first Monday of every month is the Janome Jumpstart segment. And they're going through as if you're a brand new beginner sewer, you're brand new to Janome, then they're giving you a lot of tips and tricks and information about the machines and about sewing basics for things like what kind of Janome do I have. So even on Monday's Janome Life blog, Janome Jumpstart, there was a link with the PDF here that you can download and print. Again, what kind of machine do you have? A rotary hook machine? Because there are certain accessories that are specific to that rotary hook. That's the drop-in bobbin type. Or the oscillating is the front-loading type. There are some accessories, some presser feet that are specific to those types of machines. So it's important to know which type of machine do you have. And then as well, the stitch width. Now that refers to the hole in your needle plate. Is it 9 millimeters? That's approximately the same size as a USB flash drive there. I thought, oh, that's perfect. So is it a nice wide 9 millimeters, or maybe it's 7 millimeters? That's about the size of the pencil eraser, or a 5 millimeter is about the size of a paper clip. They also go on to say in that article, for example, all the 5 millimeter machines are front-loading oscillating machines. Things like our HD 1000 machine is front-loading, oscillating, so we know it's 5 millimeter wide. So then when we look at the accessory guide, we want to make sure all the snap-in presser feet that we get, all the even feed foot that we may get for the machine is 5 millimeters. And then they also talk, is it low shank or high shank? Everyone always asks, is my machine high shank, low shank? Easy to figure out. You lay your presser foot on the bed of the machine. Ooh. Lay your presser foot to the bed of the machine, and then you measure up to this thumb screw that's going to attach your foot holder to the presser foot bar here. So when your presser foot is on the bed of the machine up to that screw, if it's approximately 1/2 inch, it is a low shank. And if it is about 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches, it is a high shank. So by comparison, here is low shank on my HD 1000 here, 5 millimeter oscillating front loader. Here is my high shank rotary hook drop-in bobbin of the 9 millimeter wide zigzag of the 6700. So you can really see that, yes, that thumb screw is way up high. So that's a high shank, and then that is a low shank. And again, more information there on our Janome.CA site under the accessories tab. And you can print this out for more information. But specifically also in the accessories tab, that yes, we can print out even the bilingual Janome accessories guide, and then it goes through, these are the various categories of machines, and then it'll go through by category all the feet, or again, a lot of them. It constantly needs to be updated. And yes, Janome is always coming out with fabulous new goodies, but we really try to update as quickly as we can. So here's information about all the, like the piping foot, for example, that's down here. And then it tells you what category of machine it is and what the part number is. Now, I explained more thoroughly how to use this guide in the K episode of the A to Z with Janome series that is on the Janome HQ YouTube channel or the IGTV icon of the Janome HQ Instagram page. That it was the K episode and shows you how to find all your accessories with that bilingual guide. But also here that we can find accessories in the search box. So what kind of accessories do I want? Let's say I want a ditch quilting foot. Oh, there, I automatically start typing just ditch, and there's ditch quilting foot. So I click on that, and then here it gives me a picture, ditch quilting foot, a description of what it is, and then, oh, there we go. So we have two types of ditch quilting foot. This one is a snap-on foot that has the big bar through the middle, down here, that little rudder through the middle. So again, it allows you to align it perfectly in the ditch, so you got accurate stitch in the ditch. So that is the snap-on one, and again, it's important to know which model do you have. Is it, again, 9mm, 7mm, 5mm? Because it's a snap-on foot. So here is the ditch quilting foot with the part number 4. These majority of the machines listed first are the 7mm. And then we get down into, oh, there's ditch quilting for 9mm, for example, like Continental M7. Oh, there's an 8200. So yes, then we know yes, that's compatible. There's the part number there. And then yes, we even have ditch quilting. Here is the AcuFeed Flex version, the SD foot with that little rudder down the middle there. So if your machine, like the Continental M7 and the MemoryCraft 15000 or the 8200 that has the AcuFeed Flex dual holder, then yes, you can use this AcuFeed Flex ditch quilting foot. Ooh, and then there is ditch quilting foot for AcuFeed models. And then we also have, or AcuFeed Flex specifically, because yes, we even have a ditch quilting foot for those machines that already had the built-in AcuFeed system where it's not the Flex. The AcuFeed is permanently attached to the machine, with, 6600 and the 7700, I believe, was there. So then, those machines had that built-in AcuFeed. And a 1/4-inch foot. Yes, Catherine, there is a AcuFeed Flex 1/4-inch foot for your dual AcuFeed Flex holder that has a guide here. So again, in 2 weeks' time, I'll talk all about the various 1/4-inch options, including for AcuFeed Flex. So yeah, so there's our ditch quilting. So that's how you find if you have an item, but you don't know the parts number, you can just start typing in the word here in the search box. But let's say you know your machine. I go back to the Products tab, and then I hit Products, and now Machines. We can view all machines, or even when it says up here, what are we looking for? I could type in, oh, I have a Skyline S9, let's say. And then I, enter, and then go down to my Skyline S9. And here's the landing page, as we call, for Skyline S9. So lots of information all about the machine. Now, specifically, we keep scrolling. There's some key features to it. Here is a list of the accessories that come included with the machine, like standard accessories here. But then pretty much, I think, for all of our machines, we have this optional accessory tab. So when we click View All, here is a drop-down menu. Oh, look at all those that are available for this machine, including, oh, look, there's a ditch quilting foot. So when I click on the ditch quilting foot, there, boom, it takes me right back to that page. There's the ditch quilting foot picture. Here are all the different parts numbers for the various ditch quilting feet. Now we know, because our Skyline S9, by looking at that other document that I just showed about what type of machine we have, we know it's a 9mm machine, wide machine, the same width as that USB flash drive. We know it's a 9mm, so therefore we can scroll down and see, oh, okay, well, our Skyline S9 is listed right here. But if it wasn't, let's say here where it says ditch quilting part number, and I'm looking at all the other machines, oh, well, Continental M7 is there, 8200 is there, 8900's there, 9850 is there. So you may know, like, oh, maybe my machine isn't listed, but I know my friend's machine, they've got an 8200, and I know theirs is high shank and theirs is 9mm. So you think, oh, okay, mine is the same. So then you know that even if your machine isn't listed there, that it is a 9mm So then it would be the same foot, same snap-on. Oh, Cheryl is here. Hello, hello. But again, we're always trying to update it, so we're hoping that all the current information is there. So there's always ways you can find. Now, also, I wanted to share with you, this new email address. Oh, I should have put it on a better card. So when you have doubt about anything, you're having some issues with your machine, you're having some questions, you'd like to know what's available and when and everything, you can certainly through our social media, that's one way to contact us. But another way about all things Janome is the customer relations. So that's custrel, customer relations, _ Janome, it's custrel _ Canada at Janome Canada.com. So this, then whenever you write us on social media, or again, if you're having some issues with your machine, or again, you've just got questions of where is this and how can I find it and on it, then again, just send it to the Janome Canada Customer Relations email, and then we can certainly get back to you as quickly as possible with the correct information. We definitely have been looking at how can we get all this information out to you all in a more efficient manner, because again, there is so much information out there, and we always just want to continue to share the Janome love. So let me quickly flip around here and say thank you everyone for joining me today. Again, it's always such a fast, furious time. The time goes by. I could spend all day talking about it. So because I can't, then we'll just have to come back again. So next week I'll be back live on Wednesday for another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. And then again, the following week I will be doing an Ask Janome HQ again. So by all means, write us, even to that customer service. If you have some issues that you would like, questions that you would like answered here in the live, and I'll do my best to answer it during the live. Again, if I can't get to it during the live, again, I write it all down, and then we'll just do it on another presentation, and certainly share it to our social media, and again, a Janome Life blog, other great resources to share some of this information, to find questions or answers to your questions. Again, things like our Janome website, always go there. There's a lot of answers to your questions there within the Janome.CA website. You just have to navigate looking for them. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you all next week, and enjoy your fabulous day. Bye.